Hello gorgeous peeps, it's Chris from TechSpert, and today it's an Apple special, a full in-depth comparison between last year's iPhone XR and the fresh new iPhone 11 just launched. The iPhone XR of course has come down in price since the iPhone 11 came along. It's now £629 compared with the £729 iPhone 11, but is the 11 worth that extra £100? Because I've been using the iPhone XR on and off for the past year. iPhone 11 I've been using for a couple of days now, so here's what I think and which one I reckon might be best for you. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So let's start with the design, and from the front, aesthetically speaking, there's basically nothing between these two. They're the same dimensions, same height, same width. You've got the same chunky bezels running around the screen, and of course the big fat notches up top. And the materials are exactly the same as well. You've got a bit of aluminium banding running down the edge of both the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, just sandwiched in between the front glass and that rear glass. Unfortunately, the durability of this glass isn't the best. As you can see there, the iPhone XR I've been using fairly regularly for the past year, and it's absolutely coated in scratches. I haven't had any kind of cover or case on this thing, so you will want to stick a cover on the iPhone 11 or the XR, whichever you buy, just to make sure they're staying nice and pristine. Your expensive shiny new smartphone doesn't end up looking like that, basically. But the good news is that both the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11 boast a strong range of colours. You can of course pick them up in black or white. This is the black model right here of the iPhone XR if you want something a bit more sort of subdued, but otherwise you can pick up a nice vibrant hues. The XR is available in blue, yellow, pink and red. The iPhone 11, it's slightly changed up. You still get yellow and red, but you've also got a green and a purple finish as well. The purple is a very subtle sort of grey purple, but quite nice all the same. Well, the iPhone 11 is a bit more water resistant than the iPhone XR as well. The XR was IP67, meaning it can be submerged in 1 metre of water for around 30 minutes. The iPhone 11 is IP68, meaning it can go a bit deeper, down to a depth of 2 metres for, again, 30 minutes. As for the rest of the design, there's really not much in the way of difference. You've still got that big fat power button here on the edge. Other side you've got volume buttons, and of course you've got the silence slider as well. Down below it's once again a lightning charger port. You got your speaker grill right there as well. And besides that, it's really just the camera grill that has changed. Of course, you now get a dual lens setup here on the iPhone 11, as you can see there. Gotta say, I'm not a fan of this camera grill design at all. It does make the iPhone 11 look even more like a child's toy. But we'll touch on the camera hardware and software in full towards the end of the comparison. So next up, let's talk about those displays. And the iPhone 11 is no upgrade whatsoever on the iPhone XR. It's basically the same screen. It's a 6.1-inch IPS panel, 326 pixels per inch, 625 nits on the maximum brightness, and a bit of True Tone support as usual. As usual, you got your 19.5 by 9 stretched aspect ratio, so well suited to TV shows and movies because you just pinch in there, get a nice full screen view, full screen apart from the big chunky notch of course. And they are very attractive panels, has to be said. You've got full HDR10 support, so great when you're watching a bit of supported content on the likes of Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. They're like nice natural colours coming through, really good stuff. On the audio tip, however, the iPhone 11 is definitely improvement over the XR. You get stereo speakers in both cases, but here on the iPhone 11 you get a nice bit of spatial audio support and a bit of Dolby Atmos on the go as well. It's definitely a punchier, louder sound. Bit more grunt behind it and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick the mic in front of both phones, play a little sound clip so you can hear the difference.
So we've got no compass, no comms, no coordinates, and no landmarks. Well, we know we're in the state park.
So that's the iPhone XR, now the iPhone 11. They're both on max volume, by the way.
So we've got no compass, no comms, no coordinates, and no landmarks. Well, we know we're in the state park.
So there you go. Hopefully the difference there has come through on the mic. Although of course neither of these smartphones boast a headphone jack. You are going to have to use a little dongly thing connected into the lightning port if you're going to use a pair of wired headphones. Otherwise you've got Bluetooth support. I've actually been having some trouble with iPhone 11 actually staying connected to some of my Bluetooth equipment. It seems to like dropping out quite a lot. But hopefully that's just a weird little bug that will be fixed sooner rather than later. Now the really good thing about Apple software is because it's a very limited range of hardware compared with Android, you're basically guaranteed to be updated to the latest version of the software here on the last gen model. So as you can see there, the iPhone XR is on exactly the same software version as the fresh new iPhone 11. So basically, with the exception of any features which are dependent on an iPhone 11 specific piece of hardware, you've got exactly the same setup on the iPhone XR. So as you can see, of course, you've got iOS 13's new dark mode, a bit easier on the eye in those low light circumstances, and of course helps to ease the battery drain a bit as well. Lots of apps such as Photos have been updated, so now you've got easier access to a whole bunch of different folders. It's much much easier to find what you're looking for specifically. Of course, a lot of iOS 13 features are specifically for the US, such as the new updated Maps app, but hopefully some of those features will come to the UK as well. Because you've got the likes of Face ID, facial recognition on both these smartphones as well, works exactly the same on both of these handsets. Sometimes it's a little bit faster on the iPhone 11, sometimes it's a little bit faster on the iPhone XR, it really does vary. And of course the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, one of the very small subset of smartphones that accept eSIM contracts as well. I'm going to post up my full guide to eSIM, including an in-depth test using the iPhone XR in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. Another area where the iPhone 11 offers an upgrade over the iPhone XR is the performance. It's got Apple's latest A13 chipset backed by 4 gigs of RAM now, compared with the older A12 backed by 3 gigs of RAM here in the iPhone XR. So as you can see, a big gulf in the AnTuTu benchmarking scores. That said, while this does make the iPhone 11 a bit more future-proof than the iPhone XR, the iPhone XR still performs really, really well. The likes of PubG Mobile plays with a nice smooth frame rate, even on those high detail levels. Absolutely no problems with the performance on this thing whatsoever. Rarely see it stumble or stutter or any app crashes or anything like that. Slight difference in the battery tech as well. The iPhone 11 is again an upgrade with a bigger 3110 mAh cell compared with the 2942 mAh stuffed inside the iPhone XR. Apple reckons you'll get up to 1 hour longer than the iPhone XR from the 11, but of course that's basically just in standby mode. In my everyday use, I haven't noticed much of an improvement at all so far, but we'll see how it goes. You do, however, get faster 18-watt charging here on the iPhone 11 compared with the 15-watt here on the iPhone XR. That's using the Lightning cable, of course. They've both got Qi wireless charging support as well. Bit of a difference on storage though. The iPhone XR used to be offered in 64, 128 and 256 gigabyte models, same as the iPhone 11, but these days you can't get a 256 iPhone XR. It's only offered in 64 and 128 direct through Apple. You can probably find a 256 model if you look elsewhere. Of course, neither of these Apple phones offers a bit of microSD memory card expandability, so if you're going to be carrying around a lot of music, media, games, things like that, then you want to be throwing a bit of extra money at Apple for those upper echelon storage options. All of which, Gubbins, brings us back onto that camera hardware, and as I mentioned before, the iPhone 11 sports a dual lens setup compared with a single lens here on the iPhone XR. So you get the same primary lens as 12 megapixel f1.8 aperture with optical image stabilization built in. However, you also now get a second 12 megapixel lens. This is an ultra wide angle snapper with an f2.4 aperture, giving you a very different viewpoint. Now, I'm actually going to do a full comparison between these two in my iPhone 11 camera review, so I'll show you exactly how it's improved on the original XR, but I'll just do a quick dive into that camera app now, show you some of the differences. One of the obvious ones is, of course, the fact that you've now got this icon right here, just above the shutter button, which now dodges you between the primary lens and that ultra wide angle lens right there. However, there are some other differences as well. So for instance, the usual toggles found up here on the iPhone XR, they're now missing in action here on the iPhone 11. What you'll need to do to get those up is just give a little tap at this blank space and then they will pop up down below. You've also got a new icon. This is the new night mode, which activates automatically on the iPhone 11 when it detects low light environments, but you can also give that little icon a tap and that will activate it manually, and then you can adjust the actual speed of it just using this little doohickey down here. You've got basically the same selection of other bonus modes, including good old portrait, of course, but here on the iPhone 11 you've now got an expanded set of lighting abilities. Hooray, the whole whack, whereas of course here on the iPhone XR you just have the 3. And of course video, if you dive into that on both of these smartphones, you can still shoot up to 4K resolution video at up to 60 frames per second here on the iPhone 11, but now you've also got audio zoom, which basically just helps to highlight, pinpoint specific sounds at whatever area you're aiming the phone at when you zoom pinch into the display. There's no actual telephoto zoom, of course, on the iPhone 11. You'll have to upgrade to the Pro version for all of that, so you've just got your usual digital zoom. And the front-facing camera has been upgraded here on the iPhone 11 as well. The iPhone XR sported a 7 megapixel selfie cam. That's now a 12 megapixel selfie cam here on the iPhone 11, so you can shoot nice crisp photos, and you can see with a bit of screen flash mode if you want it, and you can now also shoot up to 4K resolution videos here on the iPhone 11, whereas the XR topped off at full HD. So as I said, tomorrow I'll bring you my in-depth iPhone 11 camera review with a comparison to the iPhone XR in terms of the photo and the video quality to see what's improved and what hasn't. But that in a nutshell is how the new iPhone 11 stacks up against last year's XR. As you see, £100 more expensive, but you do get that fresher performance, slightly bigger battery, the dual lens camera tech, and a couple of the little upgrades as well. So are you tempted by the iPhone 11? If you've got the XR, are you tempted as well? I'd be very interested to hear if you're planning an upgrade. And for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers!